morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're viewing this podcast. This podcast series we call Race, Culture, and the Church. Race, Culture, and the Church. And I invite you to look at our body of work, 50, 60 episodes that date back to 1 week after the murder of George Floyd. And we've attempted to enter into that space that intersects at race, culture, and church. 2 out of 3, pretty much every time. 3 out of 3, a lot of the times. But this time, I am pleased to welcome back. I think this is the Chancellor's third entering into our space here, the 7th Chancellor of UC Davis, Gary May.
Thanks for having me again, Pastor Meeks.
Oh, it's an incredible honor, Chancellor, to have you here. You're very busy. There are demands on your time, but to enter into here and to speak about the issues that are germane to not only City Church in Oak Park, but to the Sacramento region. So thank you so much. I was going over it seems like maybe I'm just late to the party, but it seems like there's been an update to your CV on UC Davis's site. And one of the things that they highlighted was, and I am quoting, Gary May, the 7th Chancellor of UC Davis, the most comprehensive campus in the UC system. That's a pretty bold statement. So, Chancellor, you want to explain yourself?
Well, I think what we're referring to there is the number of degree programs offered, more than 100 undergraduate degree programs, and I think nearly 100 graduate and professional programs. And so that's what we use comprehensive to refer to. No other campus in the UC system has that many offerings.
Has the number of offerings grown since you're
a little bit, not significantly, but there's been a few more added. It's easy to add degree programs. It's really hard to take them away.
Undoubtedly.
They tend to
just ask any government entity. Yeah, you add a program.
Yeah,
not a problem. Taking it away, that's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem. The other comment I saw, and we can pivot from there, hopefully relatively seamlessly and quickly, it said, quoting you, "Success is best judged by how we enhance the lives of others." That's a wonderful statement. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Full stop, beautiful. Unpack that. Share your heart, if you will.
I think you'll appreciate this. My grandmother liked a gospel song, "If I Could Help Somebody." And as a little boy, I just had an impression on me. And I started trying to apply that in my own life. And I think despite the personal accomplishments and accolades, I think more and more as I get older, I get more gratification out of doing something that propels someone else or helps them to solve a problem or get a job or make some progress in their own life. So, and that's sort of the root of that statement.
It gets tougher and tougher. I'm assuming maybe it gets easier and easier for Chancellor May, but with your position and the breadth of responsibilities, to really be able to reach down and see that this action that we took, or that maybe Chancellor May specifically took, led to Mark Meeks getting a degree from UC Davis campus.
It is and it isn't. I think I still try to be pretty active as a mentor, especially for our African-American students, African-American male students in particular. I have a couple of students now who I feel like we're developing a good relationship, and I'll help them. Personally, yes. One of them works for me, but others are just students. And one that works for me just graduated.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and,
wow.
He's thinking about graduate school, and so anywhere I can play a role in facilitating the successful career path for students at UC Davis or elsewhere that I interact with is just really personally gratifying.
Did you have that? And again, the arc of your story, as I recall, is from St. Louis to Georgia, to California now. Did you have mentors besides grandmother?
Yeah, I've had many really good mentors who were quite impactful in my life and career. Professionally, one I always refer back to is gentleman by the name of Dr. Augustine Esserboy, who was, at the time I was an undergraduate at Georgia Tech, he was the only black professor in the College of Engineering, or certainly was the first. And he and I developed a relationship and a rapport. We're still close. He came to my daughter's wedding this summer, even though he's getting up there in age, but he was kind of a father figure for me on the campus, away from my actual family. And then professionally, as I progressed in my career, folks that I worked for and with have been really pivotal in my success. So another one I'll just mention, his name was Wayne Clough, Dr. Wayne Clough. He was president of Georgia Tech. And if I had to think of anyone who was most influential in my road to becoming a chancellor, it would be him, because I got a chance to learn from him, work with him, sort of model his behavior as a president and a leader and a statesman and all those things. And that sort of led me to want to pursue this kind of career.
So you had that, I mean, it was divine serendipity, dare I say, that you were able to be in the space where ultimately becoming chancellor of UC Davis is not out of the ordinary.
You know, I was fortunate enough that President Clough invited me or asked me to be his executive assistant was the title, but it really was more like a chief of staff role. But what he did with that role, he used it as an apprenticeship. So he would sort of put his finger on someone and say, that person has leadership potential. And I'm going to let them work with us in the president's office, be a liaison to the faculty, work on special projects, kind of learn how things happen. And before that, I only cared about my teaching and my research. I was a professor doing my thing. But that sort of opened my eyes up to the other responsibilities in leadership, dealing with the media and raising money and dealing with the legislature and all these sorts of things that the rank and file faculty don't really have to worry about too much. But as I became more aware of the breadth of responsibility, I got interested and excited about it, and ultimately led me to a similar role.
Was there a point in time that you can look back now and say that was the light bulb went off and it's like, okay, this is my career path. This is what I want to do, as opposed to work for a corporation designing airplanes?
Well, it's funny you should say that. As an undergraduate, I worked for McDonnell Douglas Corporation in St. Louis, my hometown, as a cooperative education. So I would alternate quarters, working and going to school to help me pay for my education, but also to get a chance to go home and be with my family. But that experience kind of showed me what life in corporate America was like, and it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it, but a couple things that happened I noticed. One was all the people that were making decisions had advanced degrees, so I said, hey, I think I should get an advanced degree. Mm-hmm. The other thing I noticed was it was somewhat a little more confining than I wanted. I wanted to be able to try to explore different things that as my interests and my passions changed. And becoming a faculty member and doing research kind of allowed that to happen. You're less able to do that in a corporate environment. It's not impossible, because there are some national labs and there's some corporate labs actually that allow you to have some freedom and flexibility like that. But the academic lifestyle kind of lends itself more to that.
So I put words in your mouth. People first, engineering second?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I certainly love the engineering and the problem solving and the gadgets and all that, but I've always been more of a people person.
So how does engineering fit into the thinking of Chancellor May?
So I became an engineer because I took aptitude tests and had counselors that told me, you're good in math and science, you should think about engineering as a career. I had no engineers in my family and didn't know what that was until I had an experience, high school experience, shadowing an engineer in a special program at McDonnell Douglas. And then, I liked it. I liked the problem solving. I liked the sort of stretching with the mathematics, and I liked to see how engineering discoveries and technology could change the world, make people's lives better, all those sorts of things. And so that's the career path I took. I was also encouraged to do that because then and still now there were not a lot of people of color in technology and science and engineering. So I felt like I don't know if it was responsibility, but I did feel like I had to sort of uplift, the race.
Responsibility is a good word.
Yeah,
it's not a bad word. I think it's a good word.
I had the talent, I had the opportunity. I should probably take advantage of it. So
yeah, it's amazing. I smile because the arc of my life really mirrors what you're saying in terms of there were no engineers for me, but it was just a serendipitous conversation with a high school teacher that said, "Oh, well, what are you going to do?" "Well, I want to be a history teacher." "But they're laying off teachers." "Well, have you thought about engineering?" "What is that?"
What's that?
The rest is history. Yeah.
I also had people telling me there were jobs out there for engineers and you wouldn't have to worry about finding a job, and that was influential too. So,
Well, again, speaking of engineering, congratulations, 2024. Now you're on the. So besides Georgia Tech asking you for money, they have your name on a distinguished alumni.
Right. Yeah. That was a treat. Very, excited and happy and pleased to be inducted into the Hall of Fame at Georgia Tech. There's many really influential, well-known names in that hall. So I was a little humbled to be selected, but it's a lot of fun going back and seeing people that I knew and going through the ceremony and being able to interact in that way. And it's actually my third Hall of Fame. I'm in my high school Hall of Fame, which, and I'm also in something called the Co-op Hall of Fame, which is for this cooperative education. So I don't know if I told you this before. I have a good friend, Reggie Jackson, baseball player.
Oh yeah.
And I joke with him, Reggie. So I'm in multiple Halls of Fame.
So how many Halls of Fame are you in, Reggie? Yeah. He's like, well, they call me Mr. October.
He's not impressed. Let me just make that clear.
Oh no, Reggie Jackson. He is. He's iconic. Iconic. That's all. Yankees claim him, obviously, but the A's claimed him first. Right. So that's yeah. All of that has contributed to make Chancellor May. All of that, and now you stand at the controls are at your hand, so to speak, when it comes to not only the campus, but specifically, my heart, my concern is Oak Park community, specifically 95817 and Aggie Square. So as I go down Stockton Boulevard, I see if buildings are a measure of success alone, the UC Davis Health Campus is successful. The buildings are going up. The construction is full tilt. Things are really happening. Catch us up on the goings on there, but obviously it's always been my heart, my concern, that things aren't contained on the 40 plus acres that are UC Davis Health, but all of the benefits that are happening there at UC Davis Health Campus spill over and lift the boats here in Oak Park and Tahoe Park and Elmhurst.
That was certainly one of our goals when we initiated the Aggie Square project. We could have put Aggie Square in several locations. We looked at Natomas, we looked at the rail yards. We decided to put it here near the health campus. One of the reasons was because I thought that the economic development opportunities for this area of this city would be useful and beneficial to the neighborhoods. And I know that not everyone feels exactly that same way, but one of the things we did pretty early on, I think you're aware of our community benefits partnership agreement that has a number of components. I'll mention a couple of the highlights. It will establish a $50 million affordable housing trust fund accessible by the community in 3 zip codes surrounding Aggie Square. We've pledged to hire at Aggie Square 20% of all hiring will come from those 3 zip codes, and that will increase to 25% in a couple of years. I can't remember which year. We are actively doing workforce development now. In fact, we have some programs that are existing now. We have town halls periodically. We have hired a community engagement officer for the project, Tamiko Hong. I think she's doing a great job.
She is.
She works in conjunction with Health Campus Anchor Institution mission, which has similar goals. Engage the community around the construction that's happening at Health, the new hospital tower and the new outpatient facility, 48X, and those sort of things. So there are a lot of construction projects going on, as you said. We're hiring people locally. We're sourcing locally all the materials as much as we can have the building materials. We try to use local vendors and manufacturers and sourcing those materials. So we're really committed to being a good neighbor and having our projects be something that happen with the community and not to the community.
Well said. So again, most of your time is spent in Davis, the city of Davis.
Right.
How do you feel you have a good pulse on the things and the activities that are going on here?
I think so. In fact, today is my one day. I'm here in Sacramento one day every couple of weeks, and I was in the office at Health today, this morning, and I have regular meetings with the staff and leadership at Health, and I think I keep pretty close tabs on what's happening, and all of it reports to me. So I have to, right? I have to have some level of awareness so I can make the right decisions here. So,
but the culture, the culture, you feel that the culture that exists now, you've been able to influence in a significant way, that they know that, again, this is that young man that grew up in St. Louis, that cut his teeth in Georgia. You're getting a whiff of my cologne, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, I undoubtedly feel that way. I think, and you're aware of this more than me, I think in past years we didn't have the best relationship. We, UC Davis,
correct,
did not have the best relationship with the community surrounding the Health campus. So we really intentionally have developed these agreements and programs to improve that, and I think we're seeing some of the benefits of that. It's still not perfect, and we have more work to do, but I think we're viewed much more positively now than we were 7 years ago when I came, and we're going to continue to try to move in that direction.
So where are we? Okay, that direction, not so much the destination, but the direction. Where are we headed? Where is, and I say we intentionally, Oak Park, Elmhurst, Tahoe Park. Where are we headed with UC Davis Health?
So I'll start by saying I think we have had a really exceptional relationship with Mayor Steinberg, and we hope to have similar good relationship with whoever his successor will be, which we'll find out shortly. It's important for us to have open lines of communication with the elected leaders, as well as the community members and their organizations.
Just real quick, since you brought that up, has either Dr. Kofer or Assemblymember McCarty reached out and spoken to you about their...
Both have toured Aggie Square. I've known Assemblymember McCarty almost since I came through his work in the budget for higher ed. So he was an important person to get to know. So we have a very good relationship. Dr. Carter, we just had coffee a couple of months ago, and I feel pretty good about that relationship as well. I got a chance, over the years I've had a chance to explain what we're trying to do with Aggie Square. In fact, Assemblymember McCarty was one of the early contributors to Aggie Square. He gave us some seed funds to get started, so he was all in from the beginning. And I had a chance with Dr. Carter to try to...
Dr. Kofer.
Kofer. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Did I say Carter before?
Carter, I think that's a conflation of McCarty and Kofer.
My brain is merging things. Apologies, Dr. Kofer. kind of explain where we think we're headed and why we think it's important for the community and how it opens up opportunities business-wise for the city and the local community. People just think it's Aggie Square. We're going to be doing research and taking that research to the marketplace, and that's all true. But there are also some ancillary things that open up for small business owners in the surrounding area. People that work at Aggie Square are going to need to have dry cleaning and need to have drugstores and need to get their hair done and all the sorts of things that will have more opportunities opening as we have more people coming to access the facilities.
So, again, I apologize for interrupting and bringing in Dr. Kofer and Assembly Member. But along where we headed, one of the things that we may have touched on it in one of our prior conversations, but refresh my memory and the audience too. Mm-hmm. How can the community be assured or give us something to point to and say, you know what? For example, American Legion High Schools, Continuation High School. That's within a 5-minute walk. Mm-hmm. Of Aggie Square. You know what? I want to reach out to the student body there. I want to reach out to Sac High Charter School. Mm-hmm. McClatchy's a little further, but I want to reach out to these girls and boys now so that they can have all of the benefits or similar benefits that Chancellor May had.
We're just committed to doing that. One of the things we'll be doing we have housing on the Aggie Square campus now, about 200 beds of housing. We're going to be putting into that facility sort of an entrepreneurship floor or wing where our students can learn how to be entrepreneurs. We hope to be able to extend that same kind of educational opportunity downward into the K through 12 neighborhoods.
What does that look like? I mean,
I don't know yet, to be honest with you, but I do think that we are committed to exploring that and making sure that, again, that the residents see this as a potential as a benefit, yes, and not something that's kind of happening outside of their sphere of influence. So
I'm wondering if there's maybe I'm suggesting, I don't know, it's just a stream of thought right now, is that UC Davis would have intentional internships set asides for the high school students. We'll have 10 from each high school to intern for 3 summers of high school.
Yeah, and that's certainly something we could explore that's possible. We'll know more as the project evolves. We plan to open the doors. People will be moving into Aggie Square in January.
Next year.
Yeah. And we'll have a grand opening in May. So once we are in there and we have our industry partners moving in with us in the months to come, we'll know more about what sort of internship opportunities will be available.
So who will steer that in this same intern or any type of opportunities like that? Is that a UC Davis thing, or will that be the occupants thing?
No, it'll be UC Davis. I mean, part of Sumiko's work will transition into or add to that portfolio that she has now, of seeing how we can make sure that we're doing the appropriate outreach to the high schools. I can't say what shape that will take right now, but that's something we are interested in.
Fair enough. And the work on the tower, the hospital tower, has started.
Right.
And that will complete in
2030.
And that will add how many beds?
Oh, you put me on the spot. It'll add
a couple hundred.
Almost 800, something like that.
Wow.
600 to 800. I can't remember the exact number.
So is this a hospital? Is this a tower replacement or addition?
It's an addition, but we also are sort of transitioning some of the previously existing beds that were not seismic compliant to the new facility. So it'll be a net addition, though.
So Chancellor May is going to be busy for quite a long time, assuming Chancellor May is not going anywhere. He's going to stay right here and continue to do good work here.
I hope so. I don't have any plans to go anywhere right now.
Do you have any, it's just me and you and whoever is listening, do you have any personal goals that you would like to see that are, things that you're thinking about that you would like to see lived out, either on campus in Davis or the campus here at in Oak Park?
Well, my general philosophy, Pastor, is just that to leave things better than the way you found them. And that's the only thing I would just say to that, because I don't have specific, I don't want a statue or anything like
Georgia
that.
Tech can do it. UC Davis can do it too, the 7th chancellor.
But I would love for people to say when I retire that, UC Davis is a better place in whatever dimension than it was before Chancellor May came. And I'd say the same for what we're doing here in Sacramento.
Chancellor Gary May, 7th chancellor of UC Davis campus. Thank you so very much for entering into this space.
Always a pleasure. And I hope we get a chance to talk again sometime. And my best wishes to you. And this is a great podcast.
Thank you.